This morning, we're focusing on one of the organizations that will benefit from an extraordinary gift by philanthropist Melinda French Gates. She's donating $1 billion over the next 2 years to help protect women's rights, including reproductive rights. French Gates wrote in the New York Times, "For too long," and we're quoting now, "a lack of money has forced organizations fighting for women's rights into a defensive posture, while the enemies of progress play offense. I want to help even the match." A nonprofit independent news outlet called the 19th will receive a multi-million-dollar donation. It gives women and LGBTQ plus people, especially from underrepresented communities, information, resources, and tools to participate equally in our democracy. Its co-founder and CEO Emily Ramshaw is with us. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
I have to say, you know, when you heard, or at least I read when you heard about this donation, you said, quote, "Sometimes dreams do come true." What will this mean for the 19th?
Sure. I mean, you know, this is a really difficult time for our industry. This is a difficult election cycle. So what this will mean for us in the short term is really the ability to amp up our political coverage to cover the communities that we serve in the lead up to this election. But even bigger than that, this is a sustainability play. This allows a scrappy nonprofit like us to say, you know, we're not just going to be here for the next 2 to 3 years. We're going to be here for the next 10 to 20 years and beyond. So really an enormous sense of relief.
Emily, the 19th, the title comes from the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote in this country. It gives you some indication of the kind of things you work on. Can you talk more about the mission of the 19th?
Absolutely. So our mission really is to give women and LGBTQ plus folks the news and information they need to be as actively engaged in our democracy as they can be. So this election cycle in particular, what that means is really deep coverage of voting rights of the communities that we serve, of reproductive rights, of LGBTQ rights that are really under siege across this country. So for us, this is really an opportunity to dig deep, and we were so honored to be in the company of all of these incredible organizations that Melinda French Gates chose to support this week.
Emily, you have a nonprofit newsroom organization. I want to get your thoughts on Melinda French Gates, because there's one thing to be a philanthropist. It's another thing to be an activist and to make sure your fingerprints are all over the world that you leave behind and creating sustainable change. So as a newsroom organization, how do you now see Melinda French Gates that maybe you didn't see as her in the past?
You know what? Melinda French Gates has actually supported the 19th since the very early days. You know, she was a supporter to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. This is obviously a much more seismic and game-changing gift for us, but it's an indication to us that she sees the value of independent journalism, of journalism that centers women and queer people. And to me, that's an extraordinary indication, not just for women, but also for the news business.
Based on that op-ed, I'm just curious what your thoughts are in terms of where she might be headed. Like, how active will she become in the process along the way? Do you see that?
You know,
on the horizon?
I think it's really exciting. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really exciting to see that, you know, she's someone who has done so much work globally and so much work in the sort of reproductive health space globally. It's really exciting to me to see that she is stepping in and getting engaged domestically. That means that she sees a really clear indication that this country needs her support, that women in this country deeply need her support, and that's a pretty strong signal.
Emily, journalists in this country know darn well they need financial support. A lot of organizations going out of business, newspapers folding. What did the newsroom have to say about receiving this money? How did they react to the news?
You should have seen their faces. I mean, we were screaming, we were crying. There were a lot of bad words flying around that are not safe for TV. But it was just like overjoyed. I mean, again, when you're a journalist who has spent decades in this industry struggling, going from one layoff to the next, trying to keep the lights on in your organizations, to get this kind of game-changing support for your organization, like I have goosebumps just reliving this experience with you.
Yeah, no, I'm getting goosebumps hearing you talk about it as a refugee.
Some bad words are acceptable.
Yeah, particularly when they're followed by yeah. Bad word, yeah, I like it. Emily Ramshaw, thank you very much, and congratulations on the award. Congratulations to all your journalists as well. I hope they do wonderful things with it.
Thank you, and thanks for everything you all do.